Question: have you ever been ganked? If the answer is yes, then this video is for you. Because today we're not going to be just seeing some of my favorite gank kills, but I'll actually go over my particular method for dealing with these maidenless asshats. So if that's something you're interested in, please stay tuned. For me, it's a little apropos to do a gank spank video over the footage of a guy being deleted by these guys dual-wielding Bolt of Grandad. Obviously I'm max level, so the stuff that I'm using could be min-maxed for, but I think you gotta be at pretty fairly high level to achieve the kind of hybrid build I prefer. But a lot of it could be accomplished with, appropriate use of your talisman slots. And I think most invasions, especially if you're going at the first stair and trying to get gangers, the physic becomes very important. On that note, I really am kind of bummed out because there's only one physic that really works for hunting ganks, and that's Crimson Whirl Bubble Tier and Leaden Hard Tier. So you get 15 seconds of hyper armor and invulnerability to non-physical damage. I tried to do kind of a series of what I called the polite or the friendly invader, which is essentially just walking up to the ganks and saying, I'm here, I'm ready to fight, give them a nice bow, and try and deal with it. My method for dealing with it was dual Nagakibas and spinning slash, with Millicent's prosthesis and the rotten winged insignia stacking, like I said, with the physic and the hyper armor. It allows you to tank all the cheesy bullshit that they try and throw at you, like, I don't know, giant fireballs. But it also allows you that brief window of hyper armor where you're not going to get knocked out of every attack. Now see, Flame of the Red Mane was unnerfed in this, and yeah, it still knocked me right out of it, but it didn't knock me over. Same with the Bolt of Grandsax. And then once the talismans start kicking in, they do the heavy lifting. I also used the Lord of Blood's Exaltation and the Bulgo Talisman. So I was always over 90 poise, 92 usually. The Leaden Hard Tier is almost irreplaceable. I've seen people try to use like Endure. If I was gonna swap it out for something, I think it would be the Thorny Cracked Tier or the Thorny Barbed Tier. One is more consecutive damage on hits, and the other is more poise damage or stance break on your other enemies. It makes you more likely to break their stance. So that works really well with the Rotten Winged Insignia and the other stuff we're using. Yeah. So the idea here, and I got it about a year ago, was using their numbers against them. So the more people there are, the more people you hit consecutively, and it's really gonna trigger your talismans. But also having as much of the build be passive as possible. That being said, I try not to go all in on any one area of damage, unless I'm doing, like the one-shot videos with the Grail's Roar. So I found just Millicent's prosthesis and the Rotten Winged Insignia. Anything beyond that, the katanas aren't seeing much improvement. So the other 2 talisman slots can either be, you know, for your Grail's Roar type of stuff, or to use the 𝐵𝐿𝐒 talisman and maybe some kind of status effect. You know, it gives you a lot of flexibility. So as you can see in this footage, these guys gave me a fight club, so I get to, you know, roleplay the main character fighting his way to the end boss, and I always love that. And if they do that with me, typically I'll try to stay melee as long as possible, unless they're like a mage, and depending on, I'll usually wait for them to flask. If they flask, then I will, but I give it duelist rules. It's kind of house rules when it comes to fight clubs, I think, but yeah, I always love a good host that will give you the chance to, you know, work your way straight to them. This actually just shows how long I've been doing this. So before patch 1.9, I believe, you could not jump and do like a 𝐵𝐿𝐒 as a jumping attack with the seal in your offhand. So you had to do it with it in your main hand. So I started using what I called Southpaw, which was switching to the seal in my main hand with the 𝐓𝐇𝐈𝐒 in my left hand, and, you know, just dicing them up with L1s after they took the 𝐵𝐿𝐒. That's irrelevant now because you can just do jumping attacks with a seal in either hand now. But that is what led me to using dual seals and discovering that they stack, thanks to Mr. Nobody in part. But yeah, matching 𝐓𝐇𝐈𝐒's for the main weapons, and then the alternate is matching dual dragon seals. So you can switch back and forth between the hybrid build pretty easily. If you left those 2 talisman slots open, you can use Grail's Roar and the Phlox Canvas talisman on that side, and it breaks the incantations by itself, like it doesn't need any other buffs. So I think the rest of it really kind of depends on picking where you want to fight. I typically don't chase. I don't like to, you know, let them spread out around me. I'll usually gladly fight inside the Church of Ella, but as you can see, they're taking up some strange positions. So when they start acting wonky, I basically just sit there. Let them know, like, hey, I'm not going to chase you around. I came here for a fight, and we're going to fight on my terms. And I think that usually helps, you know, establish, as, you know, 𝐷𝐿𝐒 would say, an aggressive posture.
Both of you. All 3 of you? You wanna die too? Cool. I'm not gonna oblige. Happy to help.
I think with a lot of gankers, you know, the fact that they're high level and they've always got, you know, the superiority of numbers leads them to be overconfident, and that's how I get a lot of my kills.
Give me one of my swing, you sons of bitches.
The last thing I feel like I really need to touch base on is, like, my use of the dragon incantations are essentially crowd control or area denial. And if you're going to be dealing with a 3v1 situation, you need to have some kind of large AoE attack that you're good at. And, you know, an idea for how you're going to take all three of them down if they're right next to you. So for me, that was, you know, the dragon incantations and spinning slash. Very easy to create distance between people, and if they get really close to you, then they're going to regret it. So, like I said, yeah, whether you're using golden waves or, you know, the tornado of doom, whatever you end up using, make sure you have a good AoE, a good, you know, crowd control, and some form of ranged and aerial denial. Remember, you're going to be going up against gankers. They're going to have the best gear they can find. They're going to have the biggest, dumbest spells in the game. So you'll get a lot of hate mail. People will say, oh, you're spamming or whatever. It takes no skill. Anytime you're fighting these kind of numbers, it does take skill. So whatever method you use, don't let the haters bring you down. Like I said, have big dumb spells at the ready to create that kind of distance. I mean, they're in the game because they're big and they're dumb. But if you know how to avoid them and how to capitalize on them, then you can dictate the pace of these engagements almost as well as you could dictate them in the arena. And if you get bored of their style, you can always leap into the air and roast them alive as a 𝐵𝐔𝐿. Don't forget, you might have to get through, you know, 10 flasks. So, yeah, I don't think anything's off limits, and I'm always baffled that so many people will run directly into the 𝐵𝐿's flame or spinning slash. It's like they just completely underestimate it. The poor host is lost without his gankers. You know, I give him props for trying. So another thing to note about spinning slash is it's one of those type of things where you can be out of position and still land it, where a lot of other attacks, you know, have to be perfectly timed. So with spinning slash, if you can get off to the side, then that's usually good enough. I'll leave you with, you know, my advice, which is, again, if you're trying to do this, then find the method that works for you. You know, this isn't perfect parries. This isn't a no-hit run. This is trying to fight gankers. So if it's turning into a giant dragon or lobbing big magical fireballs or actual fireballs at people, whatever works for you, if it, you know, is something that you're good at and you enjoy doing, then keep it up. Feel free to like and subscribe, and enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks for watching.
Man, them a gather and them eyes full up of fire. The center, the gunpowder rising higher and higher. Some of them a gangster, some of them a rebel. Words full of venom, heart them full of trouble. Heart them full of trouble. Gunshot ring out like thunder fountain. Sun a run red with the blood and the gore. And me Jaja heavy it a shock I to the core. I'm a sister. Lay down the cutlass and the Glock. When the ocean wash the sand and the sun a go shine, make love and compassion with the rhythm and the rhyme. Inna this ya island where the music so sweet, make we find a way for the malice for retreat. Embrace one another, hearts open well wide. I and I minds and our souls will abide. The gun slinger and the rebel, buried in the sands now are their guns forevermore. The sounds of the gunfire replaced by upful song, and in a unity we're strong. So my brethren and my sister, let the violence depart. Embrace the sunrise with a isle heart. As this a little story is now coming to an end, peace, love, and justice will forever transcend.